Namaste, Salam Bhagia. Welcome to Manthan with Saraswati, a space where stories inspire, cultures connect, and learning becomes meaningful. I am Saraswati Suresh, an educator with over 3 decades of experience. And this platform is my way of bringing together children, parents, teachers, and the wider community to reflect, grow, and celebrate life. Each episode is crafted to spark ideas, uplift your spirit, and encourage your next bold step. So stay with us, like, subscribe, share, and join this journey of ideas, culture, and inspiration. Together, let's celebrate the voices shaping our future. Namaskar and a very warm welcome to Manthan with Saraswati. When we hear the word diplomacy, we usually think of meetings, documents, and official work. But diplomacy is also about people, about listening, understanding cultures, and building trust. Today's episode on Manthan with Saraswati is special because our guest today represents India on the global stage, yet believes deeply in people, cultures, and human connection. He has lived and worked in many parts of the world, and today he represents India in Indonesia. He is also someone who enjoys travel, history, nature, and writing about everyday experiences. An Indian Foreign Service officer since 1996, with decades of diplomatic experience across the world, including postings in Spain, Colombia, Bangladesh, Peru, New York, and many more. He holds multiple academic degrees, including international security, sociology, and forestry management, and began his career with civil society works on environmental and natural resources issues. Today on Manthan with Saraswati, we are very happy to welcome His Excellency Sandeep Chakravorty. Namaskar, sir. Namaskar. The current ambassador of India to Indonesia and Timor-Leste, to talk not just about his work, but about his journey, his experience, and the lessons he has learnt along the way. So, welcome to Manthan with Saraswati once again, sir.
Thank you.
We are
thank you.
extremely honored to have you with us on the talk show. So, would you like to add something more to your introduction if I have missed out somewhere, sir?
No, I think you did a very good job. Just a small correction that I am no longer ambassador to Timor-Leste because we opened an embassy in Timor-Leste in 2024.
Okay.
So since the last 1 year, we have a new ambassador to Timor-Leste.
Okay, beg your pardon, sir.
I am now wholly and solely working on India-Indonesia relations.
Yay, India-Indonesia. So
Thank
yes, so I'm so excited to have you on my talk show,
Delighted
sir.
to be on your show.
And again, let me say, His Excellency Sandeep Chakravorty, Ambassador of India to Indonesia.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. So can we begin, sir?
Please.
Ambassador, sir, over the last 2 years, Your Excellency has become very popular amongst Indians and the Indian community here. People, even I, feel so much connected to, with you and with the embassy. Is this something you consciously wanted to do? Or what has guided you for this approach?
I think you have started with a very correct and valid question. And somehow I feel this actually guides my work in Indonesia. You see, the Indian diaspora, wherever they are present, have an advantage over people like us in the sense that they are rooted in that country, and we will come and go, but they remain and they have the networks and the connections. So I realized quite early on in my diplomatic career that this is a lever or a resource which should be used to the maximum possible. And the only way to do that is by building relations with the community, by bringing value to the relationship. Just meeting and greeting does not work. So what I have tried to do is station the embassy as part of the community. The equation is not community and embassy. It is embassy within the community. And I think wherever I have served, I have tried to do this, and it has paid handsome dividends, not only in terms of very good relations with the community, but also helping that relationship to build ties between the two countries.
I think it's an extremely, brilliant way of connecting with people, and you are doing a great job, sir. I am especially a very great fan of yours because I'm really very satisfied and very happy when I see you interacting with so many people, and people love you so much. And thank you so much.
Ms. Saraswati ji, I would also say that it's not that it was something that I invented. I think, I believe and I see that our leadership has shown us the way. Sushma ji, when she was foreign minister, she led this change in our ministry. And the best example is our prime minister. Wherever he goes, he meets with the community, and I think our external affairs minister meets with the community. All our ministers, when they go abroad, meet with the community, and there is so much of sensitivity to what the community thinks abroad, and I think they are to a great extent responsible for India's image abroad, and also supporting the transformation of India. So I think it's a win-win equation, and the more we do, the better it is for not only the community but for also the country.
Yeah, great. So that's a great note, sir. You joined Indian services in 1996, sir. What made you choose this path? Was it the idea of service, curiosity about the world, or something else?
Well, as you mentioned in my introduction, I started working in the field with civil society organizations, NGOs. And I used to work in villages in East India and also in Central India. There I realized the power of government in India, that if you have to make any change or transformation, one needs to be part of the government. That was my personal feeling. And I used to work quite successfully and to my satisfaction. But I thought that if you want impact and scale, it can only be achieved by working in the government. So that motivated me, and some other circumstances, including my friends, that I should write the civil service examination. And I didn't start with that dream ever. When I was in school or college, or even in my business school, I never thought about it. But once I was working in the field, I saw the impact government makes in our lives, and that motivated me. And then I wrote the examination, and I was successful. So I joined the foreign service, and being in the foreign service, I have enjoyed every minute. And if I get another chance in life or in my next life, I would want to represent India and be an Indian diplomat. That I am very sure about.
May you be blessed with that again and again. And I really wish that you come back to Indonesia every now and then, and we learn from you and we help each other out in making a beautiful relationship between India and Indonesia. So, and I forgot to tell my audience that we have a few sections, and then we are moving on to section 2 now. So you have lived and worked in many countries. Looking back, what has living in different cultures taught you about people?
Well, I believe that intrinsically people all over the world are good and positive. And if we are able to connect to them at the people to people level, if we can respect them, love them, connect with them, build a relationship, build a network, I think that those relationships always help. And you can really do things which you have not thought of before, or you want to do. And everywhere I went, I was very focused on being people centric. I actually got that this orientation from my work as in the NGOs, where I used to work in the villages, where it was all about people. So I think I had a head start over many others, that I realized that one needs to connect with people, and if you meet with people, you get a lot of insights, and also they carry your message and you carry their messages.
Yeah, sure.
So I have been quite successful, I would say, as a person, in terms of connecting to people and relating to people. And I meet all kinds of people. I meet business people, politicians, students, members of the community, and I think sometimes what the advantage is that you can connect, that maybe you have a need where I am not able to respond today, but day after I may meet somebody else who can help you. So I always try to bridge the two and connect. I think that helps a lot.
Yeah, wonderful, sir. Wonderful. And just extending the very thought which you just said, connecting with people. Is there any experience from your earlier postings that quietly changed the way you approach your work today? Because you meet so many people, you make all kind of people from all kind of work, different professions, like you just mentioned. So has it changed your approach for the way you work?
Yeah, as I said in my opening remarks, what I believe in is that we are transient, in the sense, diplomats come and we are here for a few years and then we go by. But the institutional memory is with the community.
Yeah.
Okay, they live here for years and years. They know how the country works. So it is very important to dive deep into that knowledge, and take that and use it, and to the benefit of our country, and then move on.
Yeah.
So when I was in New York, I felt that the Indian diaspora was very strong, and they were also very politically involved. So we had to reach out to American politicians, congressmen, and senators, and they would not be very accessible. But I found that every congressman or senator would know some Indian member of the Indian diaspora. So the doors would open. When if I would request a meeting straight on, maybe I would always get it, but maybe after a few weeks. But if I approach somebody through the diaspora, it worked like magic. And then so I have never looked back from using that. And even in Indonesia, I feel whenever I approach a issue or a problem or a person through a member of a community, it works faster and quicker.
Wonderful, wonderful to know, sir. So before joining the IFS, you worked with civil society on environmental issues. How do those early experience inform your approach to international diplomacy now?
Well, one point which I mentioned already is that being sensitive to what people are saying, and talking to people, and relating to people. The second was this whole issue of environmental protection. I worked with on forestry and water conservation, and now that is the buzzword in diplomacy: climate change and environmental protection. So wherever I have been, I have tried to make that as part of my work, although it may not be, let's say, the mainstream work of an embassy. But wherever I have been, I have tried to do something with trees, something with forestry. For instance, I don't know if you are aware of, but here we have a WhatsApp group called Ek Ped Maa Ke Naam. Are you a member?
Yes, I'm part
So,
of that.
and I am quite amazed by the traction that group has. It is one of the most active groups, and we are growing plants. And sharing with each other. And sometimes I go to events, I take plants from that group. We have been planting Bodhi tree, people tree all over the country. Including in Gresek when I went
to Japan,
and that's quite an amazing thing. Silently this group is working. We have built nurseries. I have so many plants in my own house, tulsi and moringa and neem, and wherever I go I take help of this, and many others are doing it. I am so happy with this Ek Ped Maa Ke Naam, and it has become quite a active group in Indonesia. But then when I was in New York, we were celebrating 150 years of Mahatma Gandhiji. So I decided to not do seminars and conferences. I said, let us plant 150 trees in the name of Bapuji in New York. Now in New York, where do you get land? So we tied up with a with a university, the New York State University, and I said, you have so much of land, why don't you give us the land? And we tied up with a NGO which was working on Gandhiji, and then 3 embassy, the university and this NGO, we did a program. And what we did was how to raise funds, because in New York everything is costly. So we said, okay, we will ask people to sponsor trees in the name of their parents, or God, or friend. And,
beautiful idea.
Yeah. So I, for instance, I don't have anything in the memory of my parents. So the first tree I bought. Okay, so we sold each tree for $500, and we raised $75,000, which was a huge amount of money. With that, we were able to finance the whole thing. I said, for Gandhiji, we will not take money from any business person or from the government. We will self-finance it, and we financed it. The second tree was bought by Anupam Kherji. He was in New York at that time, and he bought it in the memory of his teacher. Okay,
that's wonderful.
And so many people bought, and we ran out of trees actually to plant. We crossed 150, and many people were unhappy with me. Hame bhi chahiye, because such a great concept. So we have that Gandhi garden. We call it Gandhi Peace Garden in New York. And Honorable Prime Minister, he inaugurated that garden. And today, every Gandhi Jayanti, the event is held there. In
that's
that garden.
Wonderful to know, sir. Such a brilliant thing you have done.
Then again, coming to the same, because this is my passion. When I was in Peru, there was a very impoverished village which was ridden with violence. So one pastor of a church used to celebrate International Day of Non-Violence, Gandhi Jayanti, and spread the message of Gandhiji. So he called me for one Gandhi Jayanti. I went there and I found that it was all barren hill, and it was a desert. So I said, in this environment we'll only generate violence. So we worked with them, and the government of India supported us, and we planted trees and we greened that place. And in every house we planted trees. We planted trees in the school. And a few months back I visited the Facebook page of that community, and the trees are doing well. It is turning green. So everywhere I have gone, I have tried to do something green. So my background in forestry has helped me in my work.
That's wonderful to know, sir. And I feel so honored that I'm sitting with you and I'm learning about all these things. And environment is so important. The world will be prosperous. The world will be green. Such small initiatives.
I think everyone should try to do whatever we can. And as I said before, this Ek Ped Maa Ke Naam movement in Indonesia I'm very happy with it, I must say.
You're also very happy, sir. I'm also part of it. And I think I was at a function and I received a gift also, a small tulsi plant I received, and it's growing pretty well.
Lovely.
So that's also was presented by...
So through your channel, I would request those who are listening to join this group.
Of course.
And if you need plants, we will be very happy to supply those plants.
Sure, sir. I think audience, those who are listening to us, let's join hands. Let's join the group. Let's spread greenery. Let's share and help the cause. And let's do it. Moving on to section 3. So coming to Indonesia, a new chapter for you, for all of us. When you first came to Indonesia, as ambassador of India to Indonesia, what was your first feeling, sir, both professionally and personally?
Well, to be very frank, you see, I have traveled to all the countries in Southeast Asia before. I have been to Thailand, Malaysia, Philippines, Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam. But somehow my life never brought me to Indonesia. Yeah, and when I came here and I saw Indonesia, I was full of regret that why had I not come here before? Okay, neither as a tourist, nor as a student, nor in my diplomatic career. I would have loved to be a young diplomat here. I felt, I had been late coming to Indonesia. And that feeling persists in the sense that I feel India should be more present in Indonesia, and Indonesia should be more present in India. Because you see, India and Indonesia are amongst the 4 largest countries in the world. Indonesia is the 4th largest country in the world. And we need to do more with each other, not only business and trade, but culturally, academics, students, cinema, all kinds of exchanges should happen. It's not that it's not happening. but for instance, here a lot of people talk about Indian movies, but Indian, and people talk of Shah Rukh Khan and Kuch
Yes.
Kuch Hota Hai,
Yeah.
but that is a 25-year-old story.
Right, right.
Are we creating the new stories? That is what bothers me sometimes, but I think we are. So new stories will come, but I think more should happen together. It's not that one thing has happened, that phase is
That's
over,
over,
something,
yeah.
let's move on. I think in every aspect of life, India should have more connection with Indonesia, and vice versa. We should have Indonesian food in India, Indonesian culture, Indonesian batik. We all know about batik, but
Yeah.
hardly anybody wears
Hardly
batik
anybody.
in
India.
India. But
Yes.
I think Indians wear colorful dresses. They should wear more batik. So I felt that we are not doing enough, and there is a need to push the agenda, and that is what occupies us every day. We work on that.
So on the
a
lighter
daily
note,
basis.
I had my nephew's wedding, and Suresh bought batik shirts, and he got batik stitched for his few relatives who were on the larger side. And for the wedding, at one of the occasion, I think it was for Sangeet or something, everybody wore batik.
Oh, lovely! So lovely!
So yeah,
so lovely.
it was very nice. Like you say, people, some of them love the print there. I have my doctor, my sister-in-law's husband. He's a doctor. Oh, he loves batiks. Leke jata hai.
So any relative or friend who comes, I make sure that
same,
they buy
same.
batik.
Yeah.
And we had Indian Foreign Service trainee officers here, and before they came here, we got their shirt size, and we made batik for them, and I made
think I
sure
saw
that
the post.
when they came to India House, all of us were wearing batik. So it's our duty to promote exchanges from both sides.
Cultures,
And so I, as I said, I felt a bit sad that I had not come here, but I have not looked back, and I have enjoyed every minute of my presence here. Culturally, Indonesia and India are very similar. It's a very diverse countries with various languages.
Yes.
We have so much of connection, and there is a big Indian community, and also I feel that we can contribute a lot to Indonesia's development, and Indonesia can also support us in many ways. So in today's context, in the geopolitical context, when there is so much of global tension, I think this relationship between India and Indonesia can be a very defining relationship.
I'm sure, sir. Thank you so much for sharing that thought, sir. Moving on, during your early travels, you love traveling. So during your early travel here, was there a moment when you realized that Indonesia has a very deep and rich history?
Yes, I was aware of it in terms of knowing about Indonesian history a bit, but what I saw really was a revelation for me. Visiting museums, visiting the cultural sites in Indonesia. You see, even in today's newspaper, there was a story that one of the oldest rock art in Indonesia they have found is more than 60,000 years old. If you go to Sulawesi, there is a caves called Liang Liang. If you go to Liang Liang, the art there is 50,000 years old. Rock art.
Okay.
And even in the evolution of man, if you study anthropology, the Java man was found in Indonesia. So Indonesia has a lot of history. It has prehistory, and Neolithic man and cavemen lived here. So I think one reason could be that this is a very fertile place. It is blessed with resources, forests, a lot of mineral resources. It rains a lot here, and temperatures are not so extreme. It's mild. So I think it is a natural ground for development of civilizations, and I think some research is going on and excavations are going on. Maybe we would find in Indonesia old civilizations. We would be very interested in knowing about that. In excavation, some old cities could be found. One doesn't know, but of course, in as part of written history, we were aware of the connections with India, of Indian languages coming here, religion, and also exchanges between the two countries. And wherever you go, I was recently in Palembang, and we were there is this debate about whether the Srivijaya kingdom capital was in in Jambi or Palembang.
Okay.
So I went to a museum called Balaputra Deva Museum in Palembang, and the curator there showed me, prasastis, and he says, these prove that these were found here, and it mentions Srivijaya, and it proves that Palembang was the capital. And to my surprise, I found a very vibrant community of people of Indian origin from Kerala. Yeah, there was also a restaurant which was called Kerala.
Okay.
And they have popularized martabak there, and it's called martabak har. Haji Abdul Razak, and he's a famous person in Palembang. And martabak har, it seems, is in many parts of Sumatra, and even they have a branch in Jakarta. Okay. So many of them could not speak Malayalam or even English. They speak Bhasa because they have been here for 3-4 generations. But some kind of a little Kerala I discovered there.
So sweet.
Yeah, very interesting.
Sir, have you visited the museum here? That museum here?
Yes. So in fact, the museum has been renovated, and I went there recently, and I found many prasastis which we have read about in, let's say, William Dalrymple's book, and the Yupa Prasasti from 4th century in Kalimantan, that is there. I would recommend everyone to visit the National Museum in Jakarta. And the Java man has come back from Netherlands.
It was there in the.
I
made a recent visit, and when you were mentioning the Java man, I'm like, yeah, I did see him in the museum there.
That museum is very good and rich. I haven't seen such rich collection anywhere. And one statue or idol, whatever you may call it, which I think is one of the most beautiful pieces of art in the world, is Pragna Paramita. It used to be on display in the museum, but now it has been put in storage. But whenever it comes, one should see it, because it is outstanding. I have a photograph. I'll share it with you. You can put it in this podcast.
Sure, sir. Sure, I would be very happy to do that. So I'm talking to you makes me feel that, like the depth of, the travel which has made you. And how do you remember the names? Sometimes when I go and I'm like, okay, we have to think about the names, we recall. But how well?
No, sometimes one can recall, sometimes one fails also. So I am also as human as you are. So it's not that every time I remember. Sometimes I meet people and I know them and they know me, but I am unable to remember the name. So I try to ask for the phone number, and then I try to ask them, what name would you like me to save your number with, and then I get to know them.
You're giving away all the secrets on the channel, sir.
But it happens all the time.
So that's. So I would like to tell my viewers that kindly visit the National Museum in Jakarta. You will find amazing, archaeology things and all the past history of how Hinduism or the Indian people were connected, and how did they travel, how did they do business, and how the kingdoms, the empires, the kingdoms of Indian backgrounds are Vijaya kingdom.
No, they are Indonesian, absolutely Indonesian, Srivijaya kingdom or Shailendra, but they had the connection, influence, religious and other cultural influences, of course. So but they are very Indonesian. Means you in no way can we say that they are Indian. They are very, very Indonesian. And I would mention one point is that Indonesia is the only country in the world where people have Hindu faith, but they are not of Indian subcontinental origin. Wherever else you go in the world, if you find Hindus, they are there from the Indian subcontinent, either from India or Bangladesh, Nepal, Pakistan. But whether in the US or Mauritius or Suriname or Guyana or even in the UK or Europe, but people of Hindu faith in Indonesia are Indonesians. This is a very, very this is an observation I made once I came here.
Oh, that's wonderful, sir. And I think Sulawesi is in my list now.
You must go.
I'm going to go to Kerala and I'm going to say, oh yes, Sandeep sir was talking about it.
Sulawesi, Makassar, you should go, and then you should go to Toraja. Again, what you see in Toraja is very different from what you see in Java elsewhere. They have preserved their old traditions, and we are always concerned with life, but the Toraja people are concerned with death. Okay, so that's the only finite thing in the world, a certain thing in the world. So it's fascinating to see how they celebrate death and funerals and all that. So I had a chance to visit Toraja also.
I think so. If we keep talking, and I don't think the podcast is
Podcast
ever
going to
ever
end.
gonna
Yeah,
end.
please move on. Please move on.
So moving on with your with my next question to you, sir. And anyway, thank you so much for sharing so much of your experience on my channel, and I'm sure people are going to love it, sir. His Excellency, in your tenure as Indian Ambassador, you have supported events like yoga programs on International Yoga Day and also platforms such as Indian cultural clubs. Also, your recent initiative to engage Indian diaspora by hosting chat shows. What are your thoughts on how diaspora can connect back to their homeland, and how can this strengthen bilateral ties beyond politics?
No, as I mentioned, I think we have dealt with this question throughout this episode. But as I said, the diaspora is a repository of knowledge, of connections, of information, and when you connect with them, you actually fast forward your learning. You get to know things in a quicker way. Your learning curve is steeper. Otherwise, if you go the organic way, it may be slower. But this is a very fast forward kind of a movement of knowledge and information. And the series that we have started, Oral History of Indian Diaspora, we have already had 13 episodes. So what I'm trying to do is collect that information, and some people I hear, some will go away, and we will lose those stories, how they came here, where do they belong to, what do they do. And so I'm just trying to compile that information, and I think it's important to record their contributions, their knowledge, their what they do. And it's also in a way of honoring them, because not everyone can be given an award or a recognition. But I feel that if I am able to feature somebody, I am giving them the due respect and honoring them. And many people get to know, and you will be happy to know that I have got calls from some other ambassadors who ask me how I have done that, and they propose to do that in their own countries. I think that's a wonderful thing to do and know.
Yeah, that's I should give you a standing ovation. That's wonderful, sir. I mean, so it's so gladdening. You thought about it, and you have come out with such a beautiful platform for those people. So
I hope to feature you in one of those episodes.
Sure, sir. I mean, always at your service, sir. So moving on to the next section. When President Prabowo visited India, he spoke about having Indian DNA, and many people felt emotionally connected. Why do you think this touched so many hearts?
Well, as we have been discussing, there has been frequent exchanges over centuries between India and Indonesia, and traders have come, and merchants have come. The monsoon winds would bring people one way and take them back. There is a lot of connectivity as far as connections as far as textiles are concerned. Recently, we launched a book on heritage threads. I'll show you that book.
I think I saw the book.
Yes. And but in very recent times, I think the new generations have not been aware of that. So when President Prabhu went to India and talked about that, I think people remembered that history. People remembered that there is this connection, huge connection with Indonesia. In India, we are sometimes focused on some other countries. I'm not questioning those relationships, but I think as far as India is concerned, we have this Actist policy. It was Lucist before, now it became Actist after Prime Minister Modi took charge of our government. And we celebrated 10 years of Actist policy in 2025. I think the Actist policy is focusing on the East, and countries such as Indonesia are now becoming an important part of our foreign policy. That is one reason why we opened an embassy in Timor-Leste also. That now we have embassies in all the ASEAN countries. So I think he was able to connect to our people, because I think they remembered the past. And you have DNA only when your forefathers have had interactions.
Yes. Thank you for letting us know about that, sir. So you are not just a traveler, but you are a great writer too. You often write about how Indians idea came to Indonesia peacefully and became part of local culture. Why is this story important, especially for young people today?
I think in today's world where so much of turmoil is there, there's violence in our societies, violence between countries. I think the spread of ideas, is important, and I think the message of peace and the message of non-violence is very relevant, because we can prosper, we can do well only in when we live in peace with each other, and I think Indian foreign policy and Indonesian foreign policy are very similar. We want a peaceful neighborhood, we want peace with every country in the world. You see, President Prabowo's mantra is that one enemy too many and thousands friends too less. That can if, I don't know if I got it correct, but he said it in as many words. I think it's very relevant, and today, when in contemporary times, in the past we know the flow of ideas, in contemporary times also there's a lot of cross learning. Some of the social sector schemes that has been launched in Indonesia, for that experts have gone to India, learning from our experience. There's no need to reinvent the wheel. How we have done our midday meal scheme, or the free meal scheme, or UPI, or this our food corporation, or cooperatives. So there's a lot of learning that is exchanging between our two countries, and in today's world I think that is very, very important. We have a vision of Viksit Bharat 2047. Indonesia MRs 2045. How both countries work together to build that, I think is very relevant.
People on Manthan with Saraswathi will be blown with thoughts which you are expressing, sir. I think it's very deep, and it's going to touch many people, and they're going to learn.
I hope so.
Like I'm learning from you. So there are so many things I'm learning from you, and my audience is definitely going to learn from you. And thank you so much for sharing such amazing thoughts, sir. So my question is again with culture. Temple in Borobudur and Prambanan are famous all over the world. Beyond tourism, what do they really represent in India-Indonesia relationship?
You see, Prambanan and Borobudur are 9th or 10th century temples, and see what marvels they are.
They're
and,
beautiful.
The panels that are the Ramayana panels. I don't think you have 9th century panels are there. I don't think you have such panels even in India of that size and quality than Borobudur. And in that time, or at that time, technology moved, ideas came, and you see, if you go to Borobudur, there are 2 lions at the when you there are no lions to be found in Indonesia. How did they imagine? Somebody must have drawn and brought that drawing. And they have built those marvelous lions. So I think they represent they are old, but in a way living examples of the connections and the connectivity that we have had. You will be very happy to know that upon the request of government of Ministry of Culture, we have decided, and Prime Minister Modi and President Prabowo announced in their joint statement that India will support the restoration of the Prambanan temple. Most of the temples have been damaged by earthquake. So I think only 20 or 24 temples out of the 240 are intact, and rest are in ruins. We will archaeological survey of India, which helped in the restoration of Angkor Wat temple. Their team is going to come very soon, do a preliminary study, and then support the Indonesian effort. So maybe in a few years from now, we will have many more temples to visit in Prambanan complex.
Yeah, that's so nice. Guys, hope you're listening to it, and we will be having many more temples. So moving on. With both India and Indonesia pursuing digital transformation, what role can tech and innovation cooperation play in shaping future economic relations?
It's a very, very valid and important question that you've asked. I think the future is in technology. The future is in AI. What we have to do, both the countries, I feel, is to embrace it and not be threatened with it. You know, when in our lifetimes we have seen computers coming, and a lot of people feel threatened. They will take away jobs
Yeah.
and all that.
Yeah.
But we have seen how we have embraced computer technology, internet technology. Now AI is the buzzword, and I think what we have to do is, you know, the AI models that are there, they are all either Western or Chinese. They have to be Indonesian and Indian. We have to train the AI models to support our development needs, our queries, okay, our interest areas, our culture, our languages.
Right.
And I think there India and Indonesia need to work very, very closely together. We cannot say that, you know, I will use Chat GPT. If you put prompts in Chat GPT, they will give answers which a teenager in Indonesia, if he puts a question on Chat GPT, it will give the same answer as it gives to an young person in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But no, if he is sitting in Indonesia, he should be able to, the AI model should be able to give an answer which is relevant to Indonesia.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
If what food does a youngster eat? You know, if the answer is a burger in San
Brooklyn or
Francisco,
Brooklyn, yeah.
it should be, you know, gadu gadu or nasi goreng here and idli in India. You know,
Yeah.
are these models trained to do that? I don't think so. I'm giving a very facile example, but at a deeper level also. And you know, then it forces choices. You know, what things to buy, consumer behavior, what things to support, what to do. You know, everything will then be dependent on what answers AI is throwing at you, or how AI is processing your requirements. So I think in AI we feel there's a lot to be done between India and Indonesia. Yesterday we had a pre-summit event where a very important member of our community, Pa Vikram, was speaking that you know, they have developed a Indonesian LLM model called Sahabat. How you know, India and Indonesia can and work together. And we have in February the AI Impact Summit. We want strong participation of Indonesia. So in technology, in AI, in use of technology to meet our daily needs, in citizen services, I think there's a lot we can do together.
Wonderful to know, sir. Wonderful to know. So many young people today are interested in public service, diplomacy. What advice would you like to give them, whether the marks and the degrees is important, or the qualities like patience, empathy, and curiosity? What will matter in the long run?
I think marks and degrees are important, but I think people skills are most important. In fact, nowadays many universities are emphasizing people skills. You may have a mark and degree, but if you can't have a conversation, if you can't respect the other person, if you don't have perseverance, patience. You see, to succeed in Indonesia, you need a lot of perseverance. Same the story in India.
Yeah.
You know, you need tenacity, you know, keep on trying, and you will succeed. You know, and you know, valuing the other person, empathy. These are qualities which marks and degrees won't give you, but these are important in the long run. So I would strongly recommend and suggest that young people should inculcate these values from early on in life, and you know, and their best role models are their parents,
Of course.
because you know, they have gone through struggles. Our children are fortunate because, you know, maybe they had not had to struggle the way we have done, but for them the challenge is even bigger, because today everybody is in a better position. So you know, very talented and competent people are challenging each other.
Yes.
In our time, you know, the numbers were
Was
smaller,
very
numbers
small.
were smaller. And you know, the world is very competitive. Resources are decreasing, our population is getting bigger and bigger, so they have to perform. But I think what they need the most is not get deterred by failure. And you know, the failure is part of success.
Success,
You may fail once or twice, but if you keep on trying, you will get success. And when you succeed, you should not let it get into your head. You know, you know, values such as humility are very important, and you will find the most successful people are full of gratitude and humility. You know, that is these are the two qualities I rate very high.
Very well said, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Many young Indians and Indonesian look up to leader like you. What is that one simple habit that has shaped your success, sir?
Well, I think it's very difficult to do self-evaluation, but I would say persistence and hard work. Put in your best and don't worry too much about the outcomes. Outcomes, if you put in your best, outcomes really don't matter, and mostly they will be good. And even if they are not good, you will have the satisfaction of putting in hard work. I would also say that being grounded, being humble, and also perseverance, to keep on trying. And these qualities are important. And if you keep on doing that, people should not doubt your sincerity. That if a task has been given, you just skim it or upar se kar liya. I think people don't like that. You put in your effort, and if you fail, your boss or anybody who has given you the task will understand why you failed. But you should give every job that you do your best shot. And I actually you may be aware that here in the beginning with our Chancery project, I faced a lot of difficulty, and we had to surmount many roadblocks. But I persisted, and I went and knocked on every door. And I will not be letting out any secrets if I say the person who helped me in the beginning the most was my tailor. I confide in everybody that, do you know anybody who can help me? So I told this to my tailor, and he said, "Oh, I know somebody who can help you." And I went up to him I took my tailor along. And that person helped me. So you never know where help comes from. But if you don't ask for it, then who will help you? So if you need help, ask for it.
So people, please, I think those who are watching us, you've got the brilliant tip how to be successful. And if you need help, ask. Even a tailor can help, like how the magic has happened.
Yes.
Yeah, that's amazing, sir. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. Sir, you enjoy travel, history and reading, okay? When you visit a new place, would you prefer to read about it first or explore it by walking around? What do you do?
I think maybe it's a mix of both. I have 3 copies of Lonely Planet of Indonesia. I have a big collection of Indonesian books. Some of it is actually, I've gone to places after reading. For instance, I read this book by Harold van der Linde on the Majapahit Empire, and then that really generated curiosity. So I went to Singosari and I did a video on that. So sometimes one reads and then and goes. But I believe in serendipity also, in the sense you go somewhere and you find something. I never imagined, for instance, when I went to Palembang, I will see the things that I saw. So one should be open to see new things, but reading up a bit in advance always helps, and it helps you in not wasting time, in not visiting certain things which you think are not so relevant. But I did read up on, when I went to Makassar, I did read up, and it helped. And I knew that the Liang Liang caves were very interesting. And the day I went, it was during Lebaran, it was closed, but we made special request and they opened it up. So I think some preparation is helpful. If you are a blogger or a writer, then I think reading up is very, very essential. Then you know exactly what to do. Yeah.
So you have experienced foods from many countries. Has Indonesian food surprised you in any way?
Yeah. Indonesian food, you see, one fundamental difference between Indonesian food and Indian food is this, which according to my understanding. In Indian food, we put the masala and the chili in the food. So our curries are hot. Indonesian curries may not be hot, but they make it hot by adding sambar. Okay, so you have the choice. If you want it very hot, you put more sambar. And it will be a misrepresentation of facts if I say Indonesians don't like hot food. They love the hot food.
Yes,
okay, but if you give them the chili in the food, then they will have a problem. But they keep on putting sambal in, and all kinds of sambals are available in the market, green and red, and and if you eat,
in it.
And if you eat Padang food, it's hot, but the hottest food is Manado food. Manado food, and there is a restaurant in Jakarta which I recommend to those who like hot food, which is called Beautica. You go to Beautica, it's the hottest food I've ever had in my life. I was sweating after having that food. and I suffered so much that one day there was an office party. I took everybody from office there, and everybody was sweating. And I said, you say Indonesians don't like hot food. It is hot and very, very delicious. So I found that difference. I also found that in Indonesian food there is a lot of variety, and some of the things, for instance, people eat here are common in India, but we never eat them. For instance, papaya flower.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We never have make curries out of papaya flower, and papaya leaf also, and different kinds of leaves.
Yes.
And some of the herbs are very, very distinct, and lot of peanut sauce is used. And we also use peanut, but not the way that is used here. So it is very distinctive. Rice, of course, is very important, and there is variety of food. And one thing which I have discovered here is the love for goreng here. Okay, tahu and tempeh and this and that.
Everything is goreng here.
So then I realized, in India also pakoda and samosa. I think in that way we are very, very similar. Eating a lot of fried stuff.
So is there any Indian food you miss when you're living abroad, sir?
Pani puri.
Oh.
Puchka.
Yeah. We are going to end with some fun questions, sir.
Okay.
Right? So just one, or you can just expand it by one sentence. Okay. Book or travel? If you had to give up one for a year, which one will that be?
Travel.
Okay. Mountains or beaches?
It's a choice. Beaches.
Beaches. Okay. Early morning reading or late night reflections?
Reading.
Late night reflections. One word that best describes Indonesia for you?
One word that
that best describes Indonesia for you?
Nongkrong.
Nongkrong.
And having good time wherever you are, whatever may be the condition, sit together with friends, enjoy time, be happy wherever you are.
Wonderful, wonderful. One word that describes India when you're away from it, sir.
One word which describes India when you're
away from it.
I think I miss family.
You miss family.
Family, yeah.
Okay, that's wonderful. So, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Happy to be.
And I'm so grateful and I'm so happy. And then I'm going to go sleep very well today. Thank you, sir, for sharing your time, wisdom, and heartfelt reflections with us today. This conversation beautifully reminds us that diplomacy is not only about nations, but about people, lived experiences, and the ability to truly understand one another, especially for young minds shaping the future. Thank you, Ambassador, sir, for sharing your journey so openly and for reinforcing how vital genuine connection are for personal and collective growth.
Thank you for having me.
For our viewers there, thank you for being a part of the meaningful dialogue. If today's conversation inspired you, do share this with students, parents, and young leaders around you. Until we meet next time, this is Saraswathi signing off for Manthan with Saraswathi, Dare to Serve. Thank you and namaskar. So, thank you very much, sir.